everybody, welcome to Break Fresh. I'm Lacine, aka The Pink Coconut, and this is Coop, aka Inspired by Coop. Today we are going to be talking about the introduction of foods to our baby girl. It's been really exciting for us, and I know you guys have a lot of questions about sort of why we waited and what we're introducing, so we'll just jump right to it. Our baby is now 13 months. She's a big girl.
Yeah.
Can you believe that? And she's walking finally, which is exciting.
Giving hugs and kisses.
Listen,
Anyway.
last night she full on, do you remember? She full on opened the door and just like walked out. She had plans. She's like, bye, see you later. Like, I'm sorry, where are you going? Are we boring you? But yeah, she's 13 months now and she's really amazing. And so as many of you know, we waited until her first birthday to introduce foods to her. So a month ago, her first foods have been fruit.
Yeah.
And it's been really exciting. She's tried so many different fruits, but maybe we should expand on why we chose to feed her fruits first. Do you want to answer that?
Well, the reason why we chose fruits first is because it provides a lot less waste in the body. It's a lot easier to digest, and it's something that doesn't cause any obstruction to her digestive system.
As opposed to like what would cause obstruction?
Type of processed foods, foods that contain starch, whether that is wheat, oats, beans, potatoes.
So I'm not sure if we touched on this in any videos, but so starch is a binder.
Yeah.
And it's what's another word for fake? Like it's something that's created to make foods that shouldn't stick together stick together. And so they're going to have more, those starchy foods are going to have a more adverse effect on a tiny baby because obviously this baby's growing and developing.
Of course, a baby, she's still very young.
Yeah.
And the thing is with starch is that it's fast burning glucose, and it causes your blood sugar levels to rise really high, quite dramatically. And then it causes your pancreas afterwards to produce high levels of insulin to quickly reduce the levels of sugar in your blood. And then that fluctuation of going up and down constantly would also aid in your child ending up having to being hypoglycemic. You know?
Because that yo-yo effect that the body's doing, and all because we're giving them foods that the body can't. I mean, an adult can hardly process these foods, right? But giving it to a brand new baby. So it's been really important to us that we are just giving her these fruits. They're these simple foods. We've been giving her, I want to say mono meals, but she's not really even eating yet. I mean, she's experimenting and she's exploring. So she's been doing a lot of messing up of everything, a lot of feeling and touching and throwing and tasting. She's done a bit of chewing, but it's mostly just exploration at this point. And we are of the mindset where we fully trust her. You see, the thing is, we trust in our bodies, we trust in nature, and a child is as close to nature as you can get. And so I think we as parents, we in society, we are the ones who sort of teach children how to be like us.
Yeah, teach them out of nature. Yeah,
and so we tell them, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. 3 meals a day, you have snacks, you should have, 8 glasses of water is what they tell us when, I mean, to be fair, the human body can only process 2 meals in a day, right? Because each meal takes up to 12 hours to digest. So for us, it's not really about giving her meals. It's about following her lead.
Yeah.
And allowing her to let us know if she's hungry and let us know if she wants to eat. So one thing that's been interesting that I found is that when I offer her food in the mornings, she's not really interested. She'll look at it, she'll taste it. She's mostly making a mess. But in the afternoons, I'd say probably about 4 o'clock and later, that's when she's really like interested in eating the food. And she's taking bites, so I haven't been cutting food for her. I haven't diced it. I haven't taken seeds out of anything. I'm simply giving it to her whole. And it's been really amazing to watch because the first fruit we gave her was actually a longan. So these are longans. They're going to fall if I touch them. But they kind of have the texture maybe of a grape. And on the inside is a little black seed. And that was the first fruit we gave to her. And she full on took the skin off, took like the flesh apart, took the seed out, and handed us the seed. And I can't make that up. Did she not do that?
Yeah, she did that.
Craziest thing, and it was amazing. But I think a few factors. I think she's had a year to watch us eat fruit and learn how to sort of manipulate the fruit. Also, she's an older baby. You'll find that when babies are younger eating, you have a lot of parents sort of like, ooh, a helicopter plane, whatever, open your mouth, and sort of coaxing them into eating because they have to make sure that they're getting maybe their nutrients, but we're still breastfeeding.
Yeah.
And breast milk should make up the largest part of nutrition for a baby.
Was it like 70%?
Over 70%. So a breastfed toddler is still going to get over 70% of their nutrition from mother's milk.
Yeah.
So as long as a mother is breastfeeding on demand, that does make a difference, then the baby's okay. And we're still breastfeeding on demand. I don't know if you've noticed, but she comes up to me now with this little finger and like, what is that? But she's tapping me, and that means that she wants milk. And so I just follow her lead. If she wants milk, she gets milk. If she doesn't want milk, she doesn't get milk. And I mean, there are times when she might see a piece of fruit and she might want it. Okay, then try that too. She's just exploring it. I want to say maybe last week, so about 3 weeks in, I pureed some apples and pears for her, some organic apples, organic pears, with a little bit of water, and I gave her a bit of that, and she did like it. But I'm just not too keen on pureeing. I feel like if she's ready to eat, she should be able to handle a whole fruit. That's just my mindset. That doesn't mean I'm against pureeing completely, because she did eat some of it.
Yeah.
But I do prefer to give her whole foods.
Same here. I mean, I do, just because it just makes sense. If a child doesn't have a full set of teeth in their mouth, then they're not ready to start chewing food yet.
Yeah.
Therefore, their body is not able to break down the food the way it's supposed to break down. It's because the amount of times that you chew your food would suggest or determine how much digestive enzymes is going to be produced to help break down the food. So if we're giving her food that she's not chewing, that she's just mainly swallowing, then the right amount of digestive enzymes won't be produced, and then it starts to cause constipation.
Because digestion starts in the mouth, right? It's
Exactly.
the first step of digestion.
And it's one of the hugest problems that adults have.
Yeah, not chewing your food
Not chewing their food, so they'll chew once or twice, swallow,
Yeah.
and think, yeah, that's great. But then you end up with acid reflux,
bloating, I'm
bloating, of course, and then poor digestion. And then when you have poor digestion, that can lead to carbohydrates becoming fermented, fatty foods becoming rancid, and high protein foods becoming putrid.
Okay, yeah, so that does make perfect sense. So it's sort of like, by giving the child pureed foods, we're not teaching them to learn how to chew properly. So sort of by giving her these whole fruits, we're teaching her, like, you better break that down. You better work, because that's the first step in your digestive process.
And a lot of the foods nowadays, even baby food, if you look on the back of the ingredients list on baby food, a lot of them contain starch. And starch, which I've said in previous videos, is that it can't be broken down unless the child has molars in their mouth.
And molars don't come in until past 1 year old.
Yeah, I think roughly around 2.
Yeah, I was going to say 2. I wasn't...
Yeah, it comes in 3 different stages.
Wow.
And 2's being the first stage. And that's when the body, or that's when the mouth is able to produce tylen, which is an amylase, which is an enzyme that breaks down starch.
So now, just for the people who may not be sure, what kinds of food have starch in them?
Potatoes, wheat, legumes, nuts, beans, lentils, bananas. So yeah, we haven't given our daughter any bananas, although we know that's one of the first foods that people give.
Yeah, it's a popular first choice.
Yeah, but again, when you start feeding your children foods that's high in starch, these foods will aid to the breakdown of their digestive system or their digestive tract, and it leads to early symptoms of illnesses. And then your child, thank God, or thank us as well, that she hasn't needed to go to hospital at all, which is quite common.
She's been healthy and happy and
super happy,
growing and strong. I mean, she's been really...
Yesterday, me and her was having a tug of war for my phone, and I just thought, you know what? Take it then.
So you gave up. She beat you.
It was already on airplane mode.
Yeah.
And the brightness is always down.
Yeah.
So I'm not trying to radiate her yet.
Ever. Jeez.
I mean, listen, if I can go to every single house and turn off everyone's Wi-Fi, I'll be doing it.
Yeah, you really would.
I would. But yeah, that's the common problem that we have in regards of damaging our children's digestive tract, because we want them to eat the foods that we're eating. It's natural for us to be like, oh, I'm having this, you have something, or have these sweet potato fries, or crisp, or whatever
I think that's what it is. I think that obviously the first part of feeding your baby is it's just fun. You want to see their reaction. You want to see what they like and what they don't like. And obviously it's fun. And, you know, I'd be lying if I didn't say there were moments I might have been a bit tempted prior to her becoming one for her to taste something, not to eat something, because I'm not sure if you guys know, but when we say we didn't give her anything, she didn't even get a taste. We didn't give her anything to even put in her mouth and suck and try. Nothing. She had nothing until she was 1.
Yeah, no water as well.
No water. A lot of people don't realize that when a child is strictly breastfed, the breast milk is actually water and food. So that's why you'll see sometimes babies might take a quick feed because it's just a drink. And sometimes they might take a longer feed, and that's because it's food. Yeah. So prior to introducing foods to her, there was no need for her to drink water or any juice or anything because she's getting her liquid and her hydration from my milk. Yeah. Whereas now that we have introduced certain foods, we've also introduced water because with food comes water. And she has really liked the water. She does like it, but to be fair, she'll take it from her cup and just spit it all over herself. Again, she's exploring, but again, breast milk is making up is covering her nutritional needs. So we're not worried if she wants to play with her food and explore the water. I mean, yes, it's messy. Yes, sometimes I'm like, all right, stop making a mess. Yeah. But it's brand new to her. Yeah. You know, she wants, like, what is this in my mouth? What can I do with it? So we're not worried about it. We're just following her lead. We know that I eat well. Yeah. So therefore, my breast milk is just suffice for her, and she's doing well by it. Another thing we haven't given to her is nightshades. So nightshades are tomatoes, peppers,
tomatillos, eggplant or aubergine, all peppers. Yeah. Goji berries. There's actually a huge list, but the ones that's
bell peppers, eggplant, the tomatoes, that sort of thing. And
an easy way to figure out whether the food is a nightshade is if the food has a little green hat on top of it, like you see on tomatoes and peppers and stuff like that. So if it has a little green, if it has a little hat on the top of the fruit, then you know it's a nightshade. A nightshade is actually, the reason why they call nightshade, because it's a family of that type of plant, which is quite poisonous. Okay. Not quite. It's a poisonous plant. Okay. But it can, those foods that we've listed does have nutritional benefits for us, but I don't feel like that is the right choice of foods to give to a small child.
Why not nightshades right now?
Because nightshades can aid in autoimmune disease. Okay. They also aid even in arthritis. So it's something that we know as certain adults can't consume a particular food for particular reasons. It's not something that we want to give a brand new child. It's not necessary.
We sort of just want to ease her into food. I think the whole thing comes back to, as a society, we're gluttons for food. We're taught to overeat. And so since we have this brand new human being that's so close to nature, we just want to take things slow and ease her into food, so that she knows that food is medicine and food isn't something to sort of like lean on and depend on. So we're taking it slow. So I think a lot of people might wonder, well, she's not eating nightshades, she's not eating bananas, she's not getting pureed foods. Like you say you're feeding her, but what is she eating, right? She's actually tried a lot of different fruits, and it's been so cool to watch because I want to say most of the fruit that she's tried, I swear I didn't try until I was like 28, 29.
Standard. Yeah.
So old. She's had cherimoya, rambutan, long gone, burro bananas, no bananas. Why am I saying that? Because I saw it. No bananas. Scratch that. Long gone, rambutan, mango, pineapple, pomegranate, cherimoya.
A lot of the foods that we've had,
Yeah, tons of fruit. So she's just had like so much goodness, I think
a lot of people's fear as well when it comes to eating fruit is they're concerned about the sugar content.
Well, I think what I hear people say is like, well, they're only going to have a sweet tooth, they're only going to like sweet foods.
But the funny thing is that if you compare most of these fruits with the standard foods that we tend to eat on a daily basis, the glycemic index is a lot smaller than the ones that
in the fruit.
Yeah. For instance, even if you had whole wheat contains amylopectin A, which has the highest amount of starch. Okay. Which contains the most amount of sugars.
Well, is it fair to say
in comparison to refined wheat, which would, just because it's gone through a process, they will contain a lot less starch. But at the same time, it's still very high on the glycemic, on the GI.
I mean, so basically starch turns into sugar in the body, right?
Yes.
And so if we're giving our kids these starchy foods, then they're still getting the sugar that people are so fearful of. Whereas, in fruits, it's natural sugar. And I think another point to bring up is
which doesn't cause the pancreas to produce or secrete a lot of insulin. It's because it doesn't need fructose. Because fructose doesn't need insulin to enter the cells, where glucose does.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, exactly. So it's easily assimilated, it's easily absorbed. I think another point to bring up is that you have to eat for where you're from. You have to eat for like your kind. And we are African, aren't we? So you're Ghanaian and Jamaican. I'm Puerto Rican and Ecuadorian. And if you look at these countries, they're hot countries, they're tropical countries, they're countries of abundance, and they're countries all along the equator. And so again, these are high fruit diets where we have this sort of fruit growing. And so this is how we intend to feed our daughter even as she grows when we have other kids. And this is how we eat too. We're not going to feed her any different than we're eating because this is how we're meant to eat. So, again, there's no fear of like, oh, is there too much sugar or is she getting enough nutrients? Yes, she is. A child actually is recommended to be breastfed from the World Health Organization and the United Nations until they're about 2 years old, if not longer. And again, a breastfed toddler can get 70% of their nutrients from mother's milk. So it's not really about, okay, they're one now, I have to feed them 3 meals and I have to make sure they're getting all their nutrients. Just let them explore, follow their lead, put the food out for them. If she was here and she wanted something from here besides the bananas, we would let her try it. And if she ate it, great. And if she doesn't, that's fine too. I know a lot of people will also be worried about milk. For some reason, I don't know, I think doctors tell you that babies need milk, like cow's milk, especially past the age of 1. But cow's milk can make you anemic, can't you? And
it robs you from your iron.
So it's really, you really have to weigh out the benefits of giving your child cow's milk. I think the reason they tell you that cow's milk is important is because it has a high fat content, and the fat content helps for brain development in a child. But again, if you're breastfeeding, your breast milk is composed of everything that your baby needs, and it's got a higher fat content than cow's milk. So again, you wouldn't need the introduction of that milk.
And the exact content that is needed for the child.
And not even for a child, for your child. Because your breast milk is a living thing, and it changes for your baby. So it's going to have everything that your baby needs as it's growing. So I think, did we touch on like rice cereals? Because a lot of people I know, I get messages, and I know I've heard it, but we're told by our aunties, our grandmas, our sisters, our best friend, the baby needs rice cereal. You have to give the baby cereal.
I don't know. I've never heard this. I think this is a conversation that probably women have a lot.
I know that I've heard from a lot of people. Thankfully, we've had like a really huge support system, but they're told to give their baby cereal from like 4 months. Again,
same thing, same high starch content.
And the only thing that the rice cereal does is make the baby sleep longer. And that's because the body's trying so hard to digest it. So it's not that you're full, it's that your body's still working on it. Whereas your breast milk or something like fruit is just really easily digested.
I know, and then something like rice cereal is going to high in starch again, but it's also going to leave a lot of mucus as a byproduct after digestion, and these are all of the things that cause obstruction in a child's digestive tract, which slowly causes constipation. So
I think everything comes down to really the way that we're doing it with our daughter is just keeping it simple. And right now that means raw fruits. Now we might want to touch on why not vegetables.
Well, just because of the depends what type of vegetables. Are we talking about leafy greens?
I feel like generally speaking veggies, because if when we do tell somebody that we're only giving our daughter fruit, why not veggies?
It depends, because some people don't seem to realize that vegetables are majority of the time fruits.
So things like green beans, things like tomatoes, even though we're not. Tomatoes, cucumbers,
olives.
peppers, olives, avocado.
Yeah.
These are all fruits. They're not vegetables.
Even down to squash, pumpkin, and squash and pumpkins.
Yeah, your squashes are all fruit too. So I think when people hear like, oh my God, just fruit, you know, they're only gonna love sweet food. Okay, everything we named isn't sweet, and those are fruits too. Also, I think we have to mention that breast milk is actually sweet.
It is.
So, I mean, I know I've tried my breast milk.
I've tried your breast milk.
You've tried my breast milk. It's sweet. You know, if you're a breastfeeding mom, or if your partner is breastfeeding, taste it. It's sweet. So it's really the natural food for us. I mean, I wouldn't say we have a sweet tooth. It's just what the natural food for us is. And what is naturally sweet? Fruit.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm not really worried about it. Besides that, I think the last thing that we have to touch on is cooked foods. Do we plan on introducing cooked foods, and when?
Not anytime soon, I don't think. Just because cooking your food out actually breaks down the digestive enzymes. That's supposed to be readily prepared for you to consume. So I don't know. I think when that time comes, probably definitely after 2.
That's what I think too. Like another year. I think the whole point comes down to taking it slow, following the baby's lead, and keeping them close to nature. We're learning from her. We're the ones who've been taught out of it, and we need to get back to it. So
to be honest, by the time she's 2, we'll probably be just raw eaters anyway.
Raw fruit, right?
Raw
that's really the goal for us anyway, because we know that that's where health truly lies.
Yeah.
So again, there's no rush. We're following her lead. She's still breastfed, and she will be for a while, and we're just following her lead. When she wants it, she gets it. If she doesn't eat it, I'm not worried about it. She's fine. You always watch your baby. She's growing, she's strong, she's happy, she's healthy, she's peeing, she's pooing. It's nothing to overthink, right? And we're just having fun with it. It's been a fun experience. I like sharing with her. It's cool, right?
Yeah.
We will be back with more episodes. Let us know what you think. Comment, like, subscribe, share, and we'll see you next week. Bye.